We're now joined by author, film critic and journalist Anupama Chopra, who's written a new book called A Place in My Heart, which talks about her favorite memories from her years covering all things Bollywood and filmy. It lists 50 films, artists and events that left an impression on her. Thank you so much, Anupama, for joining us on the program. And to start off, what made you write this book now, where you share all these, special memories that you have and your Bollywood journey?
It was really about kind of sharing things meaning movies and people and places that have given me joy. And that's actually one of the most exciting parts of my job is kind of just sharing, because I love movies so much that it's not enough to just love them alone. I want other people to love them too. And I want to kind of convey my enthusiasm and my passion and so and sort of make it contagious. So really the idea was to kind of, just talk about films and events that have sort of shaped my professional life and that have had a real impact. And through all of that, give a sense of the film industry at a time and a place.
And you've talked about so many wonderful films, through the whole book, big films, small films, groundbreaking films, pivotal ones. It's actually a treasure trove of recommendations for film lovers. Was it difficult for you to choose?
Yeah, that was the toughest thing because there's too many movies. I could do A Place in My Heart, part 2, part 3, part 4. We could just keep doing sequels. This could be a franchise because there's too many films to love. And this book actually doesn't touch on foreign cinema at all. I've stuck to Indian cinema and various, of course, like you said, shorts and documentaries. And but there's so much. So that was really tough to kind of just decide like, okay, these are the movies and the rest will have to wait.
And you've talked about several personalities through the book. Of course, there's Amitabh Bachchan, you talk about Karan Johar. And I found the Priyanka Chopra, chapter most interesting because she has had such an incredible journey.
Well, that's the thing, I've done this now for more than 25 years. So I have really seen the film industry. Of course, cinema changed. Cinema has changed a lot, but film industry was a completely different place. And when I talk about it now, it's almost impossible to imagine how chaotic it was. How it was like I just say, it was like the Wild West. It was just, a few families and just the chaos of sort of not having contracts, not having bound scripts. There was a certain madness in it, which was also very romantic and also very attractive, But at that time, I remember when I first started in the early 90s, I was on sets where, me and maybe there would be like literally 4 or 5 other women. That would be it. If it wasn't a song number with dancers, then it would just be like, I've done interviews with Madhuri Dixit, where it was me, her mother, Madhuri, and the hairdresser. We were like 4 women, and it was a unit of 100, 150 people. And from that to come to where we are now, where, women are in every sphere of filmmaking and women are frontlining films. And it's just wonderful. It's been an amazing evolution to watch.
And if we talk about Priyanka Chopra, further, the career that she has managed to chart for herself, she reached the top here and then went on to the US to chart a new career there.
Absolutely. For me, that was astounding, because Hindi cinema, like cinemas everywhere, is ageist. And especially for women, you don't need me to tell you that it's awful about what happens when women get older, the kind of roles they get offered. And here's a woman who just refused to play by the rules and said, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm shifting the goalpost and I'm just going to Hollywood. I mean, for me, that was just brilliant. What a boss move.
Right, boss move indeed. And I love that you mentioned the film in which Annie gives it those ones, which was directed by Pradeep Krishan. It was written by Arundhati Roy, much before she became this famous novelist. And this was a film that was really ahead of its time, and I personally feel it never got its due.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite films because it does so many things. And it was such a amazing sort of grunge vibe that you couldn't even imagine in the 80s. Imagine they made this film then. And I think over the years it has kind of found a cult following because it's on YouTube. And of course it has Shah Rukh Khan. It was his first film, so people have kind of gone back to rediscover it. But imagine this was a film funded by Doordarshan. Cannot even conceive of it now, but it's just brilliant. It's so funny and it's moving and it's really it's really a look at youth with all its folly and its tenderness and its magic. It's just beautiful. I love the film.
I enjoyed the chapter that you have on Mammy and the Mumbai Film Festival. And I have to say, I had no idea that the film festival at one point was in jeopardy. And it took this immense effort to actually save that film festival that you also put in. And I'm glad you did.
Absolutely. Well, I cannot take all the credit for it. I was one of the many warriors who were there. But it was, it was really like, I couldn't imagine that this film festival would shut down, and neither could many other people, including just regular people who loved the festival and went there. And so we spent months just scrambling to get the funds together to hold the festival, and then we actually took over as I became festival director, Smriti Kiran, artistic director, Kiran Rao was the chairperson at the time. And, the three of us, it was so funny because we knew nothing about running festivals. We knew nothing about raising money. We just had love and passion and were willing to put in what it took. And I remember we would go from, brand office to brand office, literally like traveling salespeople and say, this is what we want to do. And will you please give us some money? Because it's an entirely privately funded festival, which is so, and it takes crores, it's not a small amount that we're looking for. But thankfully, Geo came in, thankfully Star came in at the time, and they helped us to save it and just revive it. It's such a sort of landmark on the festival map in India, and it's been such an amazing thing. It's the first time in my life that I was a participant in actually building something. Otherwise I've spent my life working for legacy media companies, including NDTV, where I spent many years. Yes. So, this was the first time where I was just in the trenches, putting one brick after another brick and hoping that somehow an edifice will rise. And it did.
And what about the whole OTT scene? I'd like to get your view on that, with Netflix, Prime, so many others there. So many different movies are now being made, and we as an audience also have access to so much more now.
Listen, it's been very exciting. I cannot tell you, of course, for those of us with enough privilege, the stories have sustained us at a very, very difficult time. And the fact that we can now watch so much good cinema just sitting at home is unimaginable. I grew up when Doordarshan had all we could see was the Chitrahar on Thursday night and the Sunday movie, and that was it, and now to just have these thousands of choices is an amazing thing. For me, it's also very exciting as a sort of observer of the entertainment landscape to see how it's broadened out, the scope for writers, for the scope for actors. It's thrown up a different set of stars, and it's amazing. I'm very happy, and I just hope that it keeps maturing, it keeps evolving, and we keep telling really exciting stories.
And we get to see so much regional cinema as well. If we talk about that now, and we get to see so many great movies. Also, there for a long time, there's been, so much focus and attention on Bollywood in the north, of course. But the Indian film industry is actually so much more.
Absolutely. And this has been one of my pet peeves with, in fact, many foreign journalists and publications always sort of confuse the Hindi film industry with the Indian film industry, and that's not true at all. Some of the most invigorating and exciting industries are actually outside of Mumbai. And, some of the films I talk about are Kumbalangi Nights or Aranyakandam or Super Deluxe. It's just, I am guilty of it too. My life was so kind of consumed by Hindi cinema that I didn't watch enough cinema outside of my little narrow sphere. And in the last, through this pandemic, that's what I've discovered. And my God, they're telling fabulous stories, there's fabulous actors. But look at how the world has changed. Of course, Bahubali also was a massive sort of propelling and tipping point in this conversation. But, you look at an actor like Fahad Fasil, who's not done a Hindi film, and he's not sort of looking to be a Hindi film star, but he is a pan-Indian star. And that's wonderful. And that's because we have streaming services and people are now watching all sorts of films. And I think that will only help. It'll help all the industries to get better at what they do.
And you shared many anecdotes in the book. You talk about how Amitabh Bachchan actually criticized you for not being able to be, you weren't fluent enough in Hindi. And that was a very funny nugget that you shared.
Yes, that's been his sort of pet peeve about me, is that my Hindi isn't good enough. And it's also because I'm from UP, right? But what's your excuse? You should be speaking better Hindi than you do. Ab kya bolo? It's embarrassing. And I'm not proud of it. But I have conducted an entire interview with him in Hindi and sort of lived to tell the tale. So I have to say I'm sort of proud of that, because his Hindi is just fabulous.
Of course. Now, social media, let's talk about that. It's such a huge part now of what is required of the film industry and film promotions. How has that affected things in your view?
It is a big part of, but frankly, it's a big part of all our lives. The truth is that, and of course, actors are expected to do it, because I think actors in India are expected to not just be actors, but also be brands. And social media is a big part of that. It's part of your brand. I think it's a tricky space, and I think most people would say that they probably find Instagram safer than Twitter, which can get really vicious. But I think that it's exciting to kind of see how people are navigating it, to see how they are connecting with fans, to see how they're sort of having conversations. And of course, it's not always going to be healthy and positive conversations, but I find social media exciting as long as you don't let it control you. You control social media, which is very tough to do. I struggle with it every day.
So coming back to your book, the first film that you talk about is Sholay, of course. So tell us about that, if you could share with viewers.
It really is, and it just breaks my heart when I meet younger people who are like, but no, we haven't seen Sholay, because their film education begins with K3G. So I'm like, no, you have to see Sholay as much as I love K3G. So for me, Sholay is really the kind of it's a film which sort of put together all the ingredients that make Hindi cinema so great, and mixed them, just blended them perfectly. That the thali that sort of Hindi cinema is supposed to have, ki, is kahani mein romance hai, or emotion hai, or tragedy hai, or so all of it was literally in that film and put together, threaded together just organically, so beautifully. So for me, it's like one of my top favorites.
Another, aspect that you touch upon is about, how there are lots more women now in the film industry. There are many women directors now. Your sister is there. There's Zoya Akhtar, whose film Luck by Chance is also one of my favorites, and you talk about that.
It's a fabulous film, but it's for me one of the finest films about the Hindi film industry, because films about Bollywood can become very. It's too easy to make fun of Bollywood. But Zoya doesn't come from that place. She's critical, but she's also a great lover. Of course, she's grown up here. So I think Luck by Chance is just a love letter to the film industry, but a scathing one.
And finally, if I asked you, to choose 5 among the 50 things that you have sparked joy for you in your book and found a place in your heart, could you do that?
In fact, this book has 51 entries, and that's also not enough. Like I said, I could probably write a few more books on all the films I love. So no. It all depends on where in your life you are. It's funny how you respond in a certain way to a certain piece of cinema, and then a few years later, when you're a different person, you might discover things about that film that you didn't see before. So I think it's a sort of ongoing love affair with the movies. It never gets over.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anupama Chopra, for speaking to us about the new book.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.